going on, people? It's your boy Toss back again for another TChanzo Sports News update. Now, before I get into it, make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel on the road to 2,000 subscribers. Big up everyone who's already subscribed to the channel. It's very much appreciated. And yeah, let's see if we can get 2,000 for the end of the season. Now, let's get into the talk of the week, the topic of the week. Everyone's talking about Trent Alexander-Arnold. Obviously, the news broke this week that Trent is on the verge of moving to Real Madrid on a free in the summer. Now, who's to blame? What do you guys think of this news? Let me get through the reports. Obviously, all of these journalists have been reporting it throughout the week. Let's get to David Ornstein. Real Madrid working close to a deal to sign Trent Alexander-Arnold on a free. Real Madrid must inform Liverpool if and when it is done. Not happened yet. And the Spaniards are monitoring the 26-year-old right back for 2 years and doing everything in their power since January to convince him to join. So, yeah, that is a confirmation that Real Madrid are working behind the scenes to try and get Trent to sign the contract on a free. And this seems to be a Real Madrid specialty. You've seen the likes of Rudiger go on a free from Chelsea. You've seen Kylian Mbappe, one of the best players in the world, go on a free transfer. Who would have thought that would even be possible 10 years ago, that one of the best players in the world would not even be sold for like any kind of fee? So Real Madrid have got a history of doing this. This is why me as an Arsenal fan, I'm looking out for the likes of Saliba and Saka. Both only got 2 years left, thinking we need to kind of tie these guys down or sell them, even though I don't want to sell them obviously at all. But with Real Madrid sniffing, man, these teams, they're privy now to just getting these players on a free transfer. And for me, I feel like if you've got a massive asset and one of the best players of the club, you cannot be letting them go for no fee at all. That is absolutely scandalous, especially when you've got owners that don't necessarily like to spend a load of money season in, season out. They really do look at the type of teams that really can sell well to really reinvest back into the team. And when you're letting one of your biggest assets go for free, it is not a good look. For sure, man. Fabrizio Romano says Real Madrid's salary proposal to Trent Alexander-Arnold is understood to be within the club's policy. It won't be a kind of superstar salary, as it's clear of Real Madrid's strategy. So, yeah, that seems to me that it's not even about the money. And I feel like, obviously, Trent Alexander-Arnold's getting lost. And listen, I'm not a Liverpool fan. And for me, I've got to be honest and admit, like, if this was happening to Bukayo Saka, no matter obviously how I felt about the club or whatever, I would say that, you know, I'll be disappointed regardless. He's one of our best clubs. He's come from the academy. And for me, it would be literally like, I'm very disappointed that he's leaving the club. But at the same time, in my opinion, the majority of the blame should be put on the board for one, letting this go to this level anyway. And not only just him, letting the three players, Salah, Van Dijk, and Trent, all go down to their less than months of their contract in the same window, the same period of time, is absolutely unforgivable. They're literally three of their best players, and them with Alisson's probably their top four at the club. So yeah, the fact they've let three of them go down at the same time is absolutely scandalous from obviously the Liverpool board. But not only that, the fact that, you know, you waited this long to really try to even negotiate. We hear reports that it's only been this season where Van Dijk, Trent, and Salah have been actually offered contracts on the table, which is very, very late in the day, considering these guys have been obviously a key part of Liverpool winning the Premier League, probably the Premier League this season. So 2 Premier Leagues, Champions League, as well as FA Cups and League Cups throughout the obviously entire tenure they've been at the club. So yeah, I feel like there's been there has to be a massive look on the board of Liverpool and how they've gone about handling this situation, man. Because for me, you cannot be letting top players go down to months of their contract. Now, people can say, oh, well, maybe if he didn't want to sign. But for me, you always have to have this situation. I'm a person that is very, very privy to obviously knowing how this works. I've seen it at my club numerous times with Aaron Ramsey, with Jack Wilshere, with Welbeck, with Sanchez, with Ozil, with Aubameyang. When you let these guys go down to their last pieces of their contract, bro, it is very, very hard for you to get really what you want in terms of as a club, because the power is all in the players' hands. They can choose whether to sign for another club on a free, so you get no kind of fee for the entire club completely, or they can ask you for obviously astronomical wages, which you as a club might feel you're backed into a corner, because if we let this star player go, for one, let them go, but two, for nothing, we're literally going to be in a bad favor with the fans. So then you end up paying the big money, the 300 grand, the 400 grand, whatever it is. And then you're stuck with a player that possibly is aging, possibly entering their prime, coming out their prime, with a massive wage structure that kind of can obviously impact your transfer dealings going forward. Because, like you said, because they've left it with all of these three players at the same time, it's going to be very difficult to then negotiate with other players who maybe come to the end of their contract, or players that they want to get in the future when they kind of find out what kind of the wage structure it is. If they know Salah's going to be on 400 grand, if they know Van Dijk's going to be on 300 grand, if Trent did stay and he was going to be on 300 plus, then it's very difficult for not only the club financially to obviously carry that tray on and get all these other top players on that kind of money as well, but also it is very, very difficult for existing players there to be happy with what they're currently at. If you see that someone like a Konate, for example, who would argue that he's been just as good or just as important for that Liverpool side in that defense to be on near enough or similar to what Van Dijk's on, then bro, you're gonna have to put him on higher wages, and it's like a ripple effect. It's a domino effect. So yeah, it's a very, very difficult thing to obviously wager and balance. But for me, I just feel like there should have been a clearer direction in terms of what they were going to do going forward. And now, obviously, I've heard people come out and say, "Oh, well, the structure of the entire club was obviously in disarray when obviously Jurgen Klopp was leaving and they didn't have a proper sporting director." But I'm sorry, that is the fault of the club. That for me, that just shows that lack of preparation. Like, for example, Arsenal have not had a sporting director since Edu left, like a proper one. We have obviously had Jason Otto, who was interim, but he was nowhere near the level of experience that you need at a top club. And everyone was having to go Arsenal for not buying anyone in January. No one was saying that, well, to be fair, we haven't got the right people in place. No one cared about that. That's Arsenal's fault. They should have had someone in place when Edu left, ready to come in straight away to deal with the transfer dealings for this January coming forward. There was no excuse not to have that prepared and done. We're going for a league title. We're trying to go for a Champions League. You've got to have these things in order. Like, there would have been inklings that Edu was either not happy or he was getting obviously scouted from the likes of Nottingham Forest to get more money for a better role. So, bro, you have to have a shortlist. You have to have things in place. Like, the one thing that you cannot excuse is a lack of preparation from any club. Listen, things happen that you don't expect, but you have to have backup plans and contingency plans in case this goes left or this goes right. So, yeah, for me, that's not an excuse. The fact that Liverpool weren't set up prepared for someone like Trent or Salah or Van Dijk to be heading into that final part of their contract and not having a proper negotiator to really like stem that point through. For me, that had to be sorted. These are three of your best players. That had to be in your mind as a club that, bro, these guys are going down to the final 2-3 years in their contract. And yeah, we need to get this sorted. We need to get sold. Like Salah, obviously, there was a period where he was linked with Saudi, 100+ million they were touted. For me, if this was what was going to be the alternative, you should have just sold in them, get the 100 million, reinvest in the team, and go from there. Same with Van Dijk. There was a period where, obviously, a couple of years ago, where he wasn't as good as he was now. It was like a couple of seasons after he did his ACL, where you thought, oh, is there a chance of maybe moving him on or getting some money for him to reinvest in the next new centre back? Again, if you wasn't going to come to an agreement with the contract signing, you should have sold him then. And with Trent, man, Trent obviously came out and did obviously these interviews saying he wanted to be captain and stuff like that, and he wanted to stay. And I do believe, personally, this is my personal opinion, he did want to stay, but I feel like he's not been happy with the way he's been treated in terms of leaving it to the last minute, not really ensuring his contract was going to be secure. And then people are obviously have said, you know what, Real Madrid are a clear strategy for you to get into here. There's all other obviously opinions for you to go into this direction here. And yeah, you can't really blame him, man. I mean, I know a lot of Liverpool fans are obviously upset that he's maybe going on a free, but for me, I don't feel like, how can you then negotiate with a team who you're probably upset with anyway, that you've not got your contract sorted or not got the money you wanted or not really had a proper attention that you probably think you deserve based off what you've done for the club. And then you want the same player to deal with the same club to then sign an extension to then be sold for a particular price that you're hoping the club will accept from Real Madrid. Like, that doesn't make any logical sense to me. The player's not going to do that if he's not happy with how he's been treated. He's not then going to have that club's best interest at heart. He's going to look after himself. We're all humans at the end of the day, whether you're supporting the club or whatever. If you don't feel like you're valued, even if it's your boyhood club, you're going to look to go elsewhere. And it's not like he's going to like a small club here. He's going to Real Madrid, the biggest club in the world. So yeah, for me, I don't think you can begrudge him too much. Obviously, would have been ideal for you to get kind of like a fee for him, of course. But I do feel like Trent was and I don't think it was like a sure bet thing. I feel like people are looking at it like a bit black and white, like, oh, Trent definitely knew he was going to stay, or Trent definitely knew he was going to go. I personally think Trent wanted to stay, but then when he's seen how the club are dealing with this situation, he's obviously changing his mind slightly. But then during this period of time and his contract's just ticking on. So he's a bit unsure. And that's why you get that period where it's like, you know what, I don't know whether I'm going to be staying here. And then Liverpool obviously are not capitalizing on it quick enough, and it's the last 6 months of the contract to the point where it's like, well, Real Madrid are saying, don't sign it. You can get a massive signing on fee. I'm just going to go here for free, and I'm going to be a Real Madrid player. We're not going to have to go through this thing where I'm going to have to sign a contract and then hope you sell me at a decent price that you're happy with, and hope Real Madrid pay the money. And hope, like, there's a lot of like faith in a club that at the minute he's probably not the best pleased with in terms of how he's handled his contract situation. So yeah, I feel like it is a massive loss for Liverpool, man. Because whatever you say about Trent in terms of his defensive abilities, and obviously that's probably the weakest part of his game. In terms of going forward, he's probably their biggest strength, their biggest ability, their biggest weapon. Especially against low blocks, especially against teams that play that mid block as well. His balls over the top, whether it's the Salah, Diaz, whoever, balls through the lines. Like, honestly, you don't understand how difficult it is to get from a player in general, never mind like a right back. So yeah, they're definitely going to miss him, and it's going to have to be a different type of style they play, in my opinion, to try and get the best out of people like Mo Salah, etc. Those fast-pacing wingers on the left wing. If he does indeed leave, man. But yeah, here's another report. Real Madrid want Trent to play in the FIFA World Club Cup in June. Obviously, the news breaking out as well that there's going to be a little bit of a difference in terms of when the transfer window opens. So I'm hearing that it's going to be to the 1st to the 10th of June for teams that are playing in that World Cup to actually register new players to actually play in that Club World Cup. So if Trent, obviously his contract does end at is it the end of May or end of June? I'm not really sure when it does end, but whenever it ends, yeah, he's going to be free to play in that competition, man. And yeah, finally, Real Madrid's free agent signings in the recent years has been insane. David Alaba, Rudiger, Mbappe, and potentially Trent Alexander-Arnold, man. What a coup that's going to be, man. What a coup that's going to be, man. But yeah, that's just my little thoughts on the matter in terms of how the whole situation has been handled. I do feel like Liverpool's board has to take a lot of the blame. But again, I can understand why Liverpool fans are a bit annoyed at Trent for being unsure about wanting to stay at his boyhood club, because obviously many part of the supporters would be like, well, if you're going to leave, just make sure the club get a fee. But I don't think it's as black and white as that in terms of how people are reacting in terms of how Trent obviously handled the situation. Could he have done it a bit better? Maybe, possibly so, in terms of being a bit more decisive. But I feel like he was waiting on the club. A lot of people are saying, well, he took advantage of the club not being prepared. But then, in my opinion, it's not the responsibility of the player. It's the responsibility of the club. You're the employee. They're the employer. They have to be responsible and say, okay, your contract's coming up. We're going to get this sorted now. It doesn't matter what kind of situation their obviously state is in. That's your responsibility. It's your player. You got to get that sorted, man. So yeah, that's just my opinion. And you guys let me know what you think of the whole situation. If you think Trent was right to leave on a free, if you think he should have got allowed Liverpool to get a bit of money for him, and all of that good stuff, man. But yeah, make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel, and until next time, don't hate the play, hate the game. I'm out, people. Peace.